Hello, and welcome to A Metaverse Beyond Gaming. My name is Kevin Chan, and I am part of the global policy team here at Meta. We are constantly working with external stakeholders to build for the metaverse collaboratively, which is why I am so excited to be speaking today with two wonderful partners from our XR programs and research fund. The XR Fund, announced at Connet 2021, is a 2-year, $50 million investment in programs and external research to help us think through the issues and opportunities in the metaverse. Through this fund, we are collaborating with industry partners, nonprofits, and academic institutions to enable the full value of the metaverse, and to do so responsibly. We have with us today Alex Schwartzel from Jobs for the Future, based in Washington, D.C., whose work is all about skills training, showcasing how small businesses and communities can leverage the metaverse for economic growth. And Sarah Lisa Vogel, based in Berlin, who is championing diversity and inclusion for underrepresented groups in the metaverse. Welcome, Alex and Sarah Lisa. Let's start off with each of you introducing yourselves and telling us a bit about your XR Fund projects. For so many, VR and AR are synonymous with gaming, but both of your stories illustrate what is possible beyond that. Alex, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks so much, Kevin. So I'm Alex Schwartzel. I work at Jobs for the Future, which is a national US-based nonprofit that's focused on transforming education and workforce systems. Our mission is economic mobility, and critical to that is positioning people to get the skills they need for quality jobs that will help them support their families. And to do that, they need the best quality training. So often, for skills that are accessible to people even without bachelor's degrees, training can be difficult to access, very time-consuming, costly, or even somewhat risky. So think about an electrician trying to figure out which wire to insert or to tweak, or an airplane manufacturer building an engine, a nurse drawing blood, or even a customer service representative working with a frustrated customer. These are very challenging skills to learn. And as we started digging into the world of immersive learning technology, we were blown away by its potential to train people for these kinds of highly accessible and often high quality jobs more quickly, more effectively, so that they can advance in their careers. We were really excited in an early stage of our partnership with Meta to do work to bring augmented reality technology into 8 small advanced manufacturing businesses across the United States, where we instituted technology that allows workers to digitize their checklist processes to power up or power down or repair a piece of equipment, for example. And what we saw was that these workers collaborated with their supervisors and others across the company to develop over 40 different use cases for this technology that ranged from cross-training opportunities to quality control to process improvements. One worker even caught an error that could have made a significant cost difference in the product that they were creating. And all of the businesses said that using the technology helped increase collaboration and communication across the firms. We're really excited to build on this work and to showcase all of the different ways that VR can be used for training and upskilling opportunities that are connecting people to better jobs and ultimately better lives.
That's super exciting, Alex. Thank you for sharing that, and looking so forward to seeing the work that you and your organization are going to do going forward. Sarah Lisa, how about you?
Hi, I'm Sarah Lisa. I am a VR creator, and I'm also a co-founder of Women in Immersive Tech Europe, which is a Brussels-based NGO. We enable female and unrepresented groups in the creation of the metaverse, XR, and in general immersive technologies. I'm also a participant at the Diaspora Solutions Lab, where we are using the metaverse and VR to enable solutions for refugees that are especially living in Europe and not in their home countries.
Yeah, thank you for that. That actually is a great segue into an issue that I was hoping to speak with both of you about, which is this question of diversity and inclusion. They're really important issues as we work to find partners to build the metaverse. Sarah, Lisa, and Alex, I know that you are both explicitly focused on these areas in your own work, and I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Sarah, Lisa, how can the metaverse and XR technologies support diaspora communities and bring them closer together?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. That is really a thing that is very close to my heart. because a lot of diaspora that had to leave their home and their home country are in whole new environments, in whole new circumstances. And VR and the metaverse has the power to not only put yourself into a whole different environment that might come way closer to what you are used to, but also to be able to enable you to talk to other people that are not at the same place than you are. So we can communicate over borders. We can come together in a space that we can make our home, how we want our home to look like, no matter where we currently are. That is a huge opportunity, and that highlights the huge potential that immersive technologies have for everyone, but especially for people that are struggling to find belonging and trust in the places that they are right now, usually not by choice, but by the circumstances of society.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I think one of the big things that we think is going to be unlocked is a greater sense of presence with the metaverse. And that's why we see this as such an important part of building the next generation of social technologies to bring people closer together online. Alex, I know that your work is focused on upskilling and training in traditionally marginalized communities. How are you ensuring that you are reaching this important audience? And how is the metaverse helping you do that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kevin. So we, in many ways, we start by the kinds of occupations that we focus on, because in many instances, we're supporting training for jobs that don't necessarily require a college degree, which means by nature, often they're more accessible. We also work very closely with JFF's networks across the country to seek out partners and sites that have a higher representation of populations that are typically not given access to technologies like this, are not seen in projects like the ones that we do. And once we're on the ground, we really make an effort to co-create the work that we're doing with workers and learners that we're supporting through these solutions. I have a great example from some work that we've done with a project called Skill Immersion Lab, where we brought enterprise-grade virtual reality skill training to high school age students in lower income communities across the country. And we've been partnering with those students to actually build simulations and design simulations that are reflective of their lived experiences. And they're coming up with ideas that we would never have thought of. So the more that we can really incorporate the voices of the communities that we serve, the perspectives of the communities that we serve, and put this technology in their hands to make it as accessible as possible, not just will more people have the opportunity to benefit from the solution, but the technology and the experience in immersive learning, in virtual reality, is going to be richer and deeper and better because it's more reflective of the lived experiences of everybody that's using this technology.
Yeah, that's super important. And I love this idea of making VR and AR more accessible to more people. And I think you're underpinning also this idea that we're talking about increasing the opportunities, the economic opportunities for a much broader segment of people. Let me switch to a more technical question. XR technologies obviously are still very much in their infancy. As creators and leaders building out the value of the metaverse, what would be a capability or functionality that you would love to see built to help maximize your impact? Alex?
Thanks, Kevin. I'm actually going to pick two. The first is anything that makes this technology even easier to use and anything that makes it even more reflective of the human experience. So for example, everybody out there who's working on low code or no code platforms, keep at it and keep working to make them as user-friendly and accessible as possible. There is always going to be space in the metaverse and a deep need in the metaverse for highly customized, highly tailored scenarios. And at the same time, the more that we can make creating worlds, creating avatars in the metaverse easy and accessible for as many people as possible, the more people are going to have the experience of using this technology and to have a deeper understanding of what it can do. And when it comes to the human experience, I think Sarah Lisa spoke to it eloquently earlier. And I'm also thinking about things like machine learning, natural language processing, and AI, some of these tools that can help make, for example, a human avatar even more flexibly responsive to the cues that come up in a natural conversation. For instance, if I say something as the user to provoke a response, The more highly sophisticated we can make those kinds of interactions, the more complex and interesting scenarios we can explore. Ultimately, the deeper skills and learning will help develop, and the more sophisticated skills, so that as people continue to upskill into jobs that offer more and more opportunity, this technology will continue to enable that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think this idea of trying to make avatars even more lifelike is something that we've been working at for a while, and I look forward to seeing what's next there. Sarah Lisa?
Yeah, so I can definitely add on to what Alex said in terms of creation tools, just to enable this diversity of content and this richness of experiences that we get if we actually get a broad spectrum of creators from all kinds of backgrounds, from all kinds of countries and communities. So that is definitely from my side one of the most important wishes. But I also believe bringing the whole body with its senses into virtual reality is the last thing that's basically missing. So, like the seeing, hearing, and also the upper body dynamics and interactions are great. But I think what really is still missing to fully step into this other reality and fully make use of the opportunities and also of the impressions that we can get in those realities, also to feel ourselves in certain scenarios. That is something that I think will add a lot still to the realm of the metaverse and immersive technologies.
In many respects, the metaverse is creating new paths for creators. Alex, do you want to share with us a bit how JFF is exploring this pathway as well for creators?
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. So I couldn't agree more. The number of jobs and career opportunities that are going to emerge in the coming years as this community builds and develops the metaverse are really going to be extraordinary. I think we've just scratched the surface of what's possible. As part of our partnership with Meta and the Immersive Learning Fund, we are digging deeply into that work at Jobs for the Future to both map out what are not only the job opportunities, but the skills that will be needed to step into those jobs for the creators and developers and designers of the future. And we're looking at how we can support some of those communities to actually experience the training that they're going to need to help them develop those skills, where I know Meta's on the forefront of developing some of those trainings. And we're excited to partner together to bring some of those experiences to students across the country.
Okay, great. Thank you. Last question for the panel with the time remaining. What are you most excited about in terms of AR, VR in your work that just wouldn't be possible without it? And maybe we'll start with Sarah Lisa.
Yes, so virtual reality really, for me, is this amazing opportunity to be whoever I want to be and to step into whatever scenario that I want to step in. So in general, I noticed on my own experience that VR just makes me way more confident in certain situations, being a rather shy person actually in real life. So in virtual reality, I get this opportunity to express myself freely and not show up with my real life body that can potentially be judged or misinterpreted. But in virtual reality, I have the safety and the comfort of my home to actually express myself in the way that I would like to.
That's really interesting. And I like this idea that being in a virtual space allows you to try different things. And I think it also tends to build empathy for each other and allows you to sort of get into the skin of somebody else. Alex, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would love to build on that and to say that the thing that most excites me is how profoundly virtual reality, extended reality, immersive learning can tap into experiential learning for people. For so many of us, learning by sitting behind a desk, learning only by reading or only in certain modalities just isn't as effective as when you can move around, when you can experience something, when you can be in a different setting, and when you can do that from a first-person perspective rather than just by observing others. It is incredibly powerful. I'm increasingly thinking about tools in VR as well as all of the different platforms on which people can experience the metaverse including even two-dimensional platforms like laptops and tablets, as a flight simulator for any job. And the more that we can make this kind of experiential learning and training available to more and more people, we just accelerate the progress through which people can step into the next opportunity in their career and their lives, and the next one after that, and the next one after that, that again, ultimately makes their lives richer and deeper and more fulfilling in the end.
What a great way to end this conversation. Thanks again to our panelists, Alex Schwartzel from Jobs for the Future and Sarah Lisa Vogel for a great discussion. And thank you to our audience for tuning in.
As you've heard today, we're helping to invent the technologies of the future with MetaSpark, expanding beyond mobile and advancing towards AR glasses. MetaSpark now enables you to build virtual objects and publish to mixed reality, while also advancing experiences in mobile. Our longer-term vision is for AR glasses that seamlessly combine the virtual and physical worlds. We believe glasses like these will be revolutionary. Getting there will require similar levels of innovation from our incredible community of creators. Today, we'll have a panel discussion with a few of our thought leader MetaSpark Partner Network members who are at the forefront of technical creative expression. We'll discuss how they have advanced and upskilled as creators and how they're planning to build with us for the future of AR experiences. With that said, let's meet our amazing creators from around the globe. Eugene, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Eugene and I'm from Singapore.
And Mitsuko.
Hi, I'm Mitsuko Ono, creative designer based in Japan. I'm so happy to be here.
Luke.
Hey, Chris. My name's Luke Hurd, and I'm so excited to be here today.
And Dennis.
Hi, my name is Dennis. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Our first question is for Luke. What motivates you to build more advanced experiences and experiment with MetaSpark? Can you reference a specific project or experience that you deem to be your most innovative and advanced work?
You know, one of the coolest things about building in MetaSpark is that you do get to build for today, but it's really thinking about how you can build for tomorrow, getting to the point where you can start to prototype things inside of this software for experiences that people might not have had yet. Really is where the road meets the rubber, so to speak, or the rubber meets the road, to where you can really understand how people are going to be using these in the future, especially as we start to change the devices that we start to use these in. So one of the coolest projects that I worked on this year was for Coachella. It was a one-of-a-kind experience. It was festival-based. It was event-based. It was outside, outdoors, and it was on-site. So we got to learn so much about how people use these things out in the real world, how much time they're willing to spend with them right now, what that means for the future, what that means to be outside in the sun during the day, during a festival, and experience things on a device. There's just so much to learn there. So it's really just blending that idea of building for today, but really building it to understand tomorrow. And I think that that's one thing that MetaSpark really just has the ability to do.
Thank you. Mitsuko, talk to us about your journey and your evolution.
Well, what motivates me the most is doing something that someone has never thought of before. I want to create like out of this world experiences. I don't want to make something that's normal and ordinary, because I understand that we have this chance to create something never before seen. So I want to do exactly that, never before seen and even never before imagined. With my meta tornado effect, I wanted to convey what the metaverse is for me. In this project, I used the plane tracker not just to show something in front of the user, but all around the user. I wanted to have like a different kind of experience using the back camera by changing the surroundings of the user. Whenever the user would look up or look down, the sound matches the visuals. And I had to experiment a lot with different settings, different textures, until I ended up with something that I thought matched my imagination the best. I wanted the user to explore what's on the left, the right, even what's on top and what's on the bottom. And also, since this effect kind of has like a fast pace, I also made it so that the user can actually view the whole scene in slow motion through an interaction.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Eugene, how about you?
I found that what motivated me was problem solving. So when I find a problem that no one has dealt with before, I tend to get in the zone and I don't give up until it's solved or have found a workaround. One of them was to use the plane tracker to measure how fast you run. And I did that with the effect I called Trackstar. So in that effect, you can measure your 10-meter distance timing and your 50-meter distance timing and 100-meter distance timing. The second iteration of that, I went on to measure a longer distance. So back then, I made do with what I had, which was with the phone and with Spark AR. Most people would have told me that you would get a very inaccurate kind of measurement, but I managed to get that to be fairly accurate. And my second project would be with my nonprofit, Mind Palace. So I was doing virtual reality for people living with dementia. So I bring them back to places of the past using the virtual reality headset. So then I moved on to building immersive rooms. Instead of using the headset, I turned it into an entire room so that they don't have to be touching anything.
Well, that's amazing, Eugene. Thanks for sharing with us. Sound like really spectacular projects. And Dennis, why don't you tell us about your experience with Metaspark and the innovation and experimentation you've been involved in?
Actually, I started to create it AR just for fun, and so do I nowadays, even though it became my actual job. I enjoy solving technical challenges. I enjoy to see how people interact with different experience I made. So I'm trying to build a part of your future today, and the Metaspark is a perfect tool to do it. I also love art, so I'm trying to bring some modern technologies into art by collaborating with museums or participating in exhibitions, and also try to make technologies more artistic, beautiful, and colorful. So I love to experiment with physics, with simulations, with complex interactive experiences such as drawing or even sculpting in 3D right in Spark AR. And one of the best things I ever made, it was a bunch of experiments with a LiDAR sensor. It's a sensor that allows the device to measure the distances between real-world objects. And here's a small teaser to you. Some of these experience will be available as a templates in Spark very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm curious how all of you all have evolved as creators and leveled up your technical skill. Is it through 3D modeling, scripting, or other types of experimentation? Luke, would you tell us about that journey for yourself?
Boy, all of those things. I started off as a two-dimensional web developer back in the day, and to make that foray into AR required me to learn things like 3D modeling, shading, and really just understanding how people used it and how people understood 3D objects in a scene. So everything, all of those things. And I will say that it's definitely not too late for anyone to start in this, because I just started a few years ago. It's really not that hard to get leveled up to this point. So one of the coolest things that comes out of this is being able to prototype inside of Metaspark and being able to just open it up and kind of move things around as if you're in a Zen garden, and you can just kind of like play with the sands a little bit, find out what you want to do, and then just close it. The same thing you would as like a doodle pad. So I feel like that's probably like one of my favorite things that I've leveled up on when it comes to doing things inside this software. But overall, boy, it's everything across the board.
Well, that's great. Great to hear how you're advancing. Mitsuko, what does the journey look like for you as you've evolved your technical skill set?
When I started working with AR, I only used mostly 2D assets and some free 3D assets available online. As I created more, I started editing those 3D assets to my liking and even creating my own when what I want couldn't be found anywhere. I also learned how to code as well because I wanted to learn how to make a game in another program. And because of that, I understood visual scripting even more. And it made me learn how to create games inside of Spark that didn't need me to actually write scripts. I also used to do just face tracking effects before, but now I'm starting to make effects with more animation and a storyline. Everything I know now, I learned through experimentation in Spark, and I also download resources posted by other creators so I can learn from them. I tweak them to understand how they work, and most of the time, I stumble upon lucky accidents that prove to be really useful.
Lucky accidents. That's an awesome phrase. Fantastic. Dennis, please tell us about your journey through upskilling and becoming more advanced as a creator.
I found a very nice way to learn. I call it progressive task-specific learning. So it's like a progressive JPEG. Instead of smoothly loading content from the beginning to the end, it displays it all instantly, but blurred, pixelated, and then gradually clarifies. So the same as knowledge, the same as learning. I tried to dive right into a specific task instead of passing courses or even starting with the basics. So I take this task, I decompose it to small ones, learn everything I need, learn related, mark something to the future, and just gather results. Yes, sometimes this method produces fragmented knowledge, but it helps me to move much faster. I think that in every niche, there's some enough level of knowledge that covers most of tasks. So it's cool if you learn and know something very deeply, but I think it's better than you can use different knowledge and combine them to something unexpected. So that's why I take something from JavaScript, from 3D modeling, from AI and machine learning, from design, fine arts, etc.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Eugene, how about you?
I came from a game design background, full-on scripting, until Spark came along. When I first picked up Spark, it was still pure scripting. And then I picked up the patch editor using the node graph. Then slowly I started to realize how powerful it was. Then after a while, I warmed up to it and realized that I could do almost everything that the scripting can do, and with an even more enjoyable process. Because as a visual artist, also, I like things more visual, and the patch editor gave that to me. And like connecting the dots here and there, it like to what Luke said, it feels very therapeutic, also. And so now I feel like all my latest games I've been using just the patch editor, which is amazing, and it makes opening up the old projects even easier. Now that it's all visual. It used to be like a whole wall of text, and now it's more two-dimensional. Wall of text would be one-dimensional, and now it's more two-dimensional. You can see things sideways and upwards and downwards.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. What a fantastic body of advancements you all are making in your skill. What advice do you have for fellow developers and creators? And what resources do you recommend for the broader community? Mitsuko.
My advice is challenge today's you. Never stay comfortable because that would be the end of progress. Spark regularly has updates, and when they do release a really cool feature, I suggest to be on that to stay ahead. But you don't have to be really good at everything if you don't want to. Find your expertise or your style and build on that. I used to be really insecure that I don't know shader language or some technical skills. And I used to stress about it all the time, but I realized what my forte is, and I've used that to my advantage. If you're just starting out, I suggest to watch all the tutorials out there and do it while watching. Copy to learn, but remember to be original when you publish. For specific resources, I suggest you to join the Spark AR Facebook community. It's an active community with over 100,000 members, and they're constantly posting resources, tips and tricks, and inspirations. And also Spark has published their own official tutorials made by the top creators in the community. And I think it's available on the official website.
Thanks for sharing, Mitsuko. Luke, how about you? Any advice for other creators and developers?
Oh my gosh, so much advice. One of the things I always try to tell people is not to get caught up in the current limitations of either the software or the hardware, because the idea that spatial development is happening is going nowhere. That's going to continue no matter what. As these engines change, as the hardware changes, understanding what's happening in a room, in a scene, with the people in the scene, with the objects in the scene, that is a continuing force that will progress as we get deeper into digital interaction. So don't get too hung up on those limitations because we're working through those. We're kind of in the early days. We're all walking on the moon together, and it's okay if we see some things that we need to improve along the way. That's why we're here. So as far as resources go, I've sunk a large portion of my life into trying to educate people in this space and kind of have the epiphany that I did a few years ago. And it's been great. There's so many resources out there to learn from. The Spark AR community on Facebook, again, 100,000 members out there with people of all types of varying types of education and backgrounds that you can team up with and partner with and collaborate with, not just learn from. And also, there's the Facebook Blueprint series where you can learn the curriculum. You can get certified in Spark AR and start your new career if you want to. And, most importantly, I'd say is the people. The resources there are invaluable to me. I've made some of the best friends I've ever made over the past 4 or 5 years through through this network and this community. So the resources aren't just scripting resources. They're people and community as well. And I feel like that really is what has kept me in this world for so long, is knowing that there's so many new voices here. There's so many people we can help. There's so many boats we can all rise together that it's a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Eugene, any advice for the community?
I'd say be genuine and have fun. Yeah, most importantly is to have fun because that would make you go longer. If you're not having fun, the chances of getting turned off quickly is high. So have fun. Some of the courses that I would recommend, the resources that I would recommend would be the Creator Days workshops, especially the ones for the competitions. Some of them I've been in it and teaching, passing down precious information in there. Yeah.
Great. A lot of great resources you all have shared. And Dennis, how about you? What would you offer as advice to other developers and creators?
I can say that improving technical skills is a good goal, but don't dive into it too much, especially when Spark AR is the easiest tool even for beginners. So I think that having a good taste and common sense is more important. So here's my advice. Make a feed on Instagram or other social platforms with fashion designers, artists, technical specialists, machine learning specialists, marketers, and see what they post. And start every day with a cup of coffee and fresh new content, and you will see how maybe in a year or two, following, for example, fashion designers, you'll be able to distinguish a bad piece from good and maybe even create your own. And again, about technical skills, this is obviously not the only way to become a successful and professional creator or artist. There are so much behind it. Like, think about people needs. Try to think what will make them happy, how to bring some new emotions to them, make them funny or even angry. All emotions are good. So think about business, how to help them achieve their marketing goals like this.
And Dennis, what gets you most excited about the future of AR and why? How are you approaching the shift from mobile to headsets?
I think that the metaverse will happen in augmented reality, not in all these so-called metaverses. I mean, all these web or desktop-based applications that are years behind even simple MMORPGs. So the true metaverse should combine and merge together physical and digital worlds, bringing some more creative possibilities to people, making our life easier, more fun, and interesting. The biggest difference between mobile and wearable AR that on mobile, it's experience-based. So you just launch one, then you close it, you launch another, etc. But in the future, when we all will wear AR glasses or headsets, they should build an ecosystem full of experiences and apps that are continuous, running constantly, and seamlessly merged and connected to physical or digital objects in the world. We also should invent some new interfaces to make AR easier to use and safe even outside.
Thank you so much. Mitsuko, what are your thoughts on the future of AR and this transition towards glasses?
I'm excited about AR being at the forefront of everything, be it from advertising to entertainment to gaming. It's inevitably going to be the next big thing. Why? Because it's becoming more inclusive, more interactive, and more experiential. It's no secret that the biggest tech companies in the world are developing HMDs. And imagine having two worlds. One, the one that we have now, our waking world, and the second one with the stuff made with dreams. It's an alternate world where anyone can bring their digital creations and mix it with everyone's reality. This technology will push creativity on a different level. There are new features that will come out, and these new features will always mean new possibilities, and it's our job to find out what those possibilities are and to deliver. And as the shift from mobile to headset approaches, speaking from a creative point of view, I come up with ideas on how I can add more visual impact. I think about what kind of new experiences I can come up with, what type of environment, what type of interaction I can create that will invoke a memorable and a stronger emotional reaction from the user.
Wonderful. Eugene, what gets you excited about the future?
The immersiveness. Finally, we'll be able to create something using the same software that we are super familiar with, that we've been using for the last 3 to 4 years. We can use the same software to create an immersive experience. I guess the main difference between the phone and the headset is suddenly it's all around you, and it's a headset experience. I'm excited for one of the problems that I've been trying to solve for the elderly is the social isolation that they experience in the nursing home. So maybe with this, we could finally get them to experience being next to somebody while in their nursing home.
What a great vision. And Luke, you talk to us about the future and how you're approaching the great shift from mobile to wearable devices.
Yeah, this is something that I'm really excited for. I think we've had mobile devices for so long now that we're very used to them. They're ubiquitous in our life. So to think about a life without them might feel a little foreign, but we all survived without them before that. And seeing that we're moving towards this more wearable experience, more outward-facing experience, is really the beauty of the new interface to me. I think that's what's so exciting is that, in order for us to get out into the real world and do real world computing, we had to take the keyboard and the display and the mouse and cram it all into a phone. And that really opened up the whole world for everyone to be able to walk around and compute. And now we're removing that piece of it. And what that means is that your device is able to read you better. It's able to read the world better. It's less of you fumbling with your device and minimizing and maximizing and hitting buttons and all of that. That's the beauty for me, is really that further immersion of the human being into the device and being able to build experiences for us rather than building an experience and then we try to figure it out as human beings. So I just really love that we're starting to read more about who we are, more about our gestures and our emotions, and plugging that into the context of reality. And so that's what's so exciting for me. And something like Metaspark, being able to take that one tool and be able to build for two pathways, whether that be a selfie pathway or a real world pathway. This is something I've been talking about for a couple years now, about why you want to go learn this now, because this is about to turn on. And to be part of it right now is just really, really exciting. I couldn't be more excited.
Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and for such a rich conversation. I'm truly inspired and overjoyed with all that you are creating, and look forward to seeing all that you'll continue to build. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Ara Parikh, and I'm a product marketing manager supporting the Meta Avatar store. I'm joined here by my teammates, Jamie Shi, a user experience researcher, Clara Yao, a product manager, and Tyler Huff, a design manager. And we're excited to chat all things Avatar's commerce. Today, we'll share more about the industry trends in this space, and we'll dig into what people are thinking about and looking for when it comes to Avatar digital goods. We'll also give a preview of the future of the Meta Avatar store. Let's talk about the future potential of this economy and who will build it. Avatars are a foundational part of your identity online, just like your profile picture or your name. As we build the metaverse together with you, we believe that avatars are going to be a critical part of how we represent and express ourselves in this new era. This means that avatar digital goods, the clothes, the accessories, and more that you use to customize your avatar are a major part of realizing that vision. We view Avatar's commerce as a critical piece of the larger metaverse economy, and so we're optimistic about the incredible economic opportunity around digital goods. In the future, we anticipate this to be a thriving market where brands, developers, creators, and consumers all play a role in co-building this ecosystem across the metaverse. There are a few trends that excite us in particular. First is industry investment. In the last few years especially, there's been a lot of investment into creating and exploring this space. We're seeing businesses from different verticals, fashion brands, public figures, sports teams, even your favorite TV shows and movies, create digital collections to better connect with their fans and their customers. We're also seeing technological advances in how digital wearable art can be made and shared, like support for cool textures and easier 3D asset creation. The second trend that excites us is multifaceted expression. We see people around the world using avatar digital goods to express lots of different aspects of who they are or who they want to be. Some like to use digital outfits to express their interests, like sharing who their favorite sports teams or musicians are. Others spend time and care curating their unique personal aesthetic, using makeup, outfits, and hairstyles, just like they would in the physical world. It's exciting to see this form of self-expression today, and where it will go in the future with even more avatar goods and personalization options. And finally, the third exciting trend is metaverse-unique capabilities. When it comes to the metaverse, the possibilities are endless. We're seeing digital goods that have capabilities that are really fun. Imagine a fire dress, flying shoes, or a jacket made of bubbles. Or outfits you just may not wear or be able to purchase in the physical world, but you feel free to wear in the metaverse. And now I'll pass it to Jamie to share how people are thinking about this space.
Hi, my name is Jamie Shi, and I'm a user experience researcher supporting the Meta Avatar Store. Broadly speaking, there are 3 key things that Avatar can deliver to people in the metaverse. They can represent who you are so people can recognize you in your desired way, like how your avatar can become your Instagram profile picture. Intuitively express yourself so others can have a good sense of what you're feeling in various scenarios. Be present with people, even when you're not there physically. It's still early days, and we'll continue investigating how to bring people value through avatars by allowing people to represent who they are, express themselves how they want, and meaningfully connect with others even when they're far apart. When it comes to acquiring digital goods for avatars to wear, we believe people want items that can, 1, help them communicate who they are, 2, help them feel a sense of belonging, 3, help them elevate their self-esteem and confidence, and 4, help them forge new and better social connections. We also want to provide a rich and fun digital marketplace experience where purchasing may not always be the end goal. We want to supply wearable avatar digital goods that paint a more vivid and salient picture of who you are. These carefully selected and curated items allow people to not just show, but show off their identity to better connect with others in a virtual world. Trendy and relevant avatar digital goods help people feel unique yet connected at the same time. Our goal is to enable everyone to get equal value from their avatars. The Meta Avatar Store aims to deliver inclusive goods and equitable experiences that reflect the broad communities we serve and take intersectional diversity into account in order to create global engagement and desire to use our products. Following the For You, By You philosophy, diverse avatar digital goods need to come from creators from diverse backgrounds. It's important to enable the community to create their own digital outfits or items that best reflect their unique digital fashion point of view. By lowering the barrier to entry and ensuring equitable access is how we will ultimately reach authentic, inclusive, and representative avatars for all. And now I'll pass it off to Claire and Tyler to share a preview of the future of the Meta Avatar Store.
Hi, my name is Claire Yao, and I'm a product manager supporting the Meta Avatar Store. We're excited to share more about what's coming next in avatars commerce. We see the Meta Avatar Store as part of the broader metaverse economy. Imagine a place where users can shop for digital goods and experiences in their apps of choice that allow them to endlessly personalize their digital identities. Earlier this summer, we introduced our store on Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram. As Mark mentioned, we'll expand to VR later this year and open up the places where creators and users can engage with avatars commerce. Any developer who is integrated with the Meta Avatars SDK and has an entry point to the Avatars editor will get the new experience, which includes a store. Users will be able to find a new outfit, update their appearance, and manage their closet without ever leaving the app they're in. With this expansion, we're starting to build a future where storefronts are immersive and social. At launch, we're partnering with the developers of FitXR, Forever Bowl, and Golf Plus to create and sell custom avatar clothing for their MetaQuest titles. Avatars are a core part of these apps, and each offers a multiplayer experience. FitXR merges immersive VR with total body workouts designed by fitness experts. Dedicated to making fitness more fun and accessible for everyone, FitXR offers classes across boxing, dance, and HIIT. Forever Bowl brings you together with family and friends for bowling night, where you can form teams, compete in challenges, and climb the leaderboard. Golf Plus uses VR to make the sport more inclusive and accessible, and transports you to courses across the world where you can join your friends for a round. These items will be sold within their games as well as across VR, Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram. The Meta Avatar Store is one of the first commerce opportunities that truly bridges the metaverse. Today, users can take the awesome outfits they've acquired and share it by DMing their friends on Messenger or adding it to an Instagram story. In the future, we see a world where people can acquire items on any platform and share them across VR, AR, mobile, desktop, and more. Next year, will allow more developers to bring custom goods to the store and expand the ways to make money in the metaverse and beyond. On this note, I'll pass it to Tyler.
Hi, my name is Tyler, and I'm a design manager supporting the Meta Avatar Store. In order for the metaverse to be successful in the long term, we need to unlock your creativity. The future of the metaverse is going to be built by creators and developers like you, designing and building things we can't even imagine yet. That's why we're building a platform where creators will be able to design, publish, sell, and track their own merchandise in the Avatar Store. This is essential to unlocking the creative potential of avatars, to building a diverse and representative set of options, to creating more opportunities for you to connect with your audience, and of course, make money. What we're showing today is just the beginning. The future is immersive. Truly incredible avatar outfits and goods demand truly incredible environments and experiences that showcase them. Commerce in the metaverse will take advantage of technology with experiences that feel unique to virtual and augmented reality. Experiences that allow creators to connect directly with fans and provide magic and delight that meet the user where they are, wherever that may be. And as Ara said earlier, avatars are a foundational part of your identity. And the Meta Avatar Store is a foundational piece of the larger metaverse economy. We're excited to build that together with you. And now I'll pass it back to Ara.
In this session, we've talked about the exciting opportunity and trends we're seeing in the avatar's commerce space. We shared how people use avatar digital goods to express and represent who they are, and how important it is for this ecosystem to be authentic and inclusive. We also shared how we're thinking about the Meta Avatar Store, especially around how we'll co-build with developers and creators. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for more updates from us on how to get involved.
Hi, my name is Drew, and I'm a PM on the MetaQuest store team. As a developer, driving sustainable revenue is a key part of building a successful app or game. The MetaQuest App Store team has been focused on building easy-to-use features to help you monetize and engage your audience with bundles and sales, subscriptions, IAP, and our forthcoming game trials called Try Before You Buy. Because price sensitivity drives a large amount of customer purchasing behavior, it should come as no surprise that we find content bundling and discounts are effective means of driving customer sales on the App Store today. Each of these tools can be reused to extend the life of a product and help ensure many more merchandisable moments beyond an app's initial launch. It's for all of these reasons that we're excited to announce today that we'll be launching self-service tools to enable content bundling and sales. Just in time for the holiday season, the first discounts and bundles will launch for Black Friday. Developers will be able to log into the developer website, navigate to the Sales and Bundles tab, and select any live applications or add-on content that you own. Next, you'll select the date and time of the discount or bundle and submit them for review. Upon approval, the discount or bundle will go live alongside your standalone products and will be featured on your app's product pages. Self-service tools for content bundling and sales will begin rolling out today. For those of you that want to go further and provide your international users with discounts and bundles tied to cultural holidays or events, we'll soon also provide you with the tools to select different discounts and times for specific countries or regions. To support these new features, updates to the analytics sections of the developer dashboards will also be added later this year. We think that these features are going to really supercharge your team's ability to help customers discover your great products, and we're excited to get them into your hands to use as quickly as possible. And now to talk a little bit more about subscriptions, I'd like to introduce Yuri.
Thanks, Drew. I'm Yuri, the product manager for subscriptions. Subscriptions are an increasingly popular way for developers to monetize apps on MetaQuest. The past 6 months, we've seen strong growth in the number of active subscribers. We offer auto-renewable subscriptions that provide access to content or premium features in your app on an ongoing basis. They automatically renew at the end of the billing period until the user chooses to cancel. Today, subscriptions are a preferred business model among fitness and social apps. But many more kinds of apps can take advantage of subscriptions, including apps that offer new game levels, access to collections of content, like music packs, software as a service. You can offer subscriptions, a type of in-app purchase, alongside other in-app purchase types. To offer subscriptions, you need to configure them on Developer Portal. As part of this, you have an option to set up a free trial, 7, 14 days, or a month. Free trials are a great way to offer users a taste of the app before committing to a recurring fee. This is a great way to increase user adoption. In addition, you can fine-tune your business model by setting different subscription tiers and billing terms. Currently, developers can set up to 3 tiers for a single subscription. For example, bronze, silver, and gold, to better differentiate levels of premium access. In addition, you can select billing terms within each tier. For example, monthly or annual. This will help optimize conversion, retention, and monetization. Since subscriptions launched in 2021, we've been actively listening for developer feedback. One message keeps coming loud and clear: developers need more tools to grow adoption. App developers want to experiment with different flows and growth ideas. The team is working on a set of features to help you do this better. The first of them is Extend Renewal API. This is an extension of the Graph API familiar to many of you. It will allow you to create custom flows to set up in-app promotions, referrals, and gifting using free time in-app as an incentive. For example, refer 10 friends and get 10 days free. Next, we want to offer you an option to help increase user conversion by allowing users to sign up on more surfaces in the MetaQuest store on web, mobile, and in VR, and not only in-app. In this way, users will be able to sign up right away on the surface they are on. In addition, the team is working on introductory pricing. Introductory pricing will extend the free trial options and offer you more flexibility in setting up offers targeted for new users. For example, sign up today and get the next 2 months with an 80% discount. Reach out to our team to learn more. Next, I'll turn it over to Andrea to talk about in-app purchases, best practices, and try before you buy.
Thanks, Yuri. I'm Andrea. And aside from subscriptions, which we just heard a lot about, there are 2 other types of in-app purchases to consider: consumables and durables. Durables are single-use items that persist with the user, meaning once the item has been purchased, it can't be purchased again. For example, maybe you offer an initial game download for free with only a demo level, then you offer additional levels as an in-app purchase. The second type are consumable items, which on the other hand can be purchased multiple times. Some examples of consumable IAPs are character lives or coins that you can use during gameplay. So, once you've created some cool IAP, either durables or consumables, there are 2 ways to help users find it. The first is to promote your IAP in the MetaQuest store and have it featured on the app pages. This is great because users can see it right as they're browsing your PDP, and this can be a great way to get users excited before they've even bought your app. The second way is to sell your IAP directly within your game. or experience. This keeps users engaged, and if you can come up with compelling hooks, will help ensure that they keep coming back for more. Since it might be helpful to have some inspiration, here's what we've seen work well for some other developers. The first best practice is to try connecting your IAP to an event, whether that's a real-life event or an in-app event. Creating these tie-ins, for example, to a sporting event or a holiday, can create familiarity and relevance in an emotional or even a cultural way. Connecting your IAP to an in-game event or trigger also creates a reason for purchase and engagement. For example, maybe you have a sunny environment, then perhaps you offer sunglasses as an interesting way for users to interact with their environment and identify themselves. The second best practice is making sure your IAP offering makes sense as part of your experience, either aesthetically or functionally. IAP requires development effort, so we want you to be thoughtful about the value you're adding in the utility sense, or whether some novelty for the users or some sort of social aspect. If your app requires an outfit or accessory, it should fit within the story that you're trying to tell or the experience that you're trying to create. The third best practice is to try giving a little bit away for free, which can give users a taste and inspire them to come back to purchase. We've also seen this be effective when users know that something is only available for a limited amount of time. Lastly, users respond well to new content, so keep things fresh. Try not to let your offerings get stale. We've seen developers have good success by creating attractive assets for IAP. After a while, downloads may start to plateau, and users like to see that the product is alive, so updating your artwork is one way to show that you're keeping things fresh. Creating a compelling app experience requires a lot of different elements and constant experimentation. Don't just try one thing. Compare two and decide what works best, and then riff off of that. The developer dashboard provides an easy way to upload and associate store assets such as screenshots, video trailers, and more with your extra app content. The last thing I want to talk about is a new feature we're working on called Try Before You Buy. One piece of consistent feedback we've heard from many MetaQuest 2 users is that they're hesitant to purchase store content. Sometimes it's because they aren't sure if they're actually going to enjoy an app, or they're worried about a game not being worth the price. Reading descriptions, browsing reviews, and watching trailers is no substitute for being fully immersed in an experience. Try Before You Buy will allow interested users to try full gameplay trials that are time-boxed to provide the full flavor of the game and encourage purchasing. In our early experiments, we saw that Try Before You Buy increased top-of-funnel engagement, driving more PDP clicks for all the developers in the experiment. For some developers, we also saw a strong increase in post-Try Before You Buy purchases, demonstrating that free game trials can provide the value that demos traditionally do without requiring developers to explicitly build the demo. Our goal is to make this a fully self-serve solution, so you don't have to do any additional work. Simply configure the trial duration anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes in the developer dashboard. Users will be able to start the trial, and 5 minutes before the trial is over, we'll let them know that time's almost up and prompt them to purchase the app. We'll share sales performance in the developer analytics tool. We know that this feature might not be right for every app or experience, which is why we're building in A/B testing so you can experiment with free trials for a percentage of users and see if the results help you meet your goals. We've already heard positive feedback from users, so stay tuned for the launch of Try Before You Buy later this year. Thank you for joining us for this session on how to supercharge your app with sustainable monetization. We hope you'll check out subscriptions, bundles, and sales, as well as Try Before You Buy as they become available.
you've spent a lot of time building your app. And the next question you probably have is, how do I get it discovered? Hi, I'm Caitlin Bigham, and as a product manager for the Meta Quest store, my team is here to do just that. We build the features to help your app get discovered. The Meta Quest store is growing quickly, which means it's more important than ever that your app stands out from the crowd. Today, we'll talk about what you can do to increase the visibility of your app on the Meta Quest store and how you can better connect with your customers. Then, I'll pass it over to Lauren Kester, Head of Marketing from Forever Games, to talk about what's worked well for her when launching Forever Bowl, Forever Darts, and Forever Cornhole. When it comes to devising a marketing plan for your app, it can be tempting to dive right into the tactics. So when I talk to developers about how to go about their launch, I start by asking them two questions. First, what's your goal? And second, who's your target audience? Let's take these one at a time. First off, in setting your goal, it helps to be really specific. Are you trying to increase the sales of your app or a particular in-app purchase? Do you want to grow your audience within a particular demographic? Or do you want to drive people to a particular event within your app? What your goal is will help determine your tactics. Then, after setting a goal, you'll need to identify a target audience. For example, are you trying to grow your female user base? Are you focusing your launch within a particular region? Who you're targeting impacts key decisions, such as what platform features you'll integrate, what style of marketing assets you'll produce, and which social media channels you'll lean into. These decisions will determine how your message resonates with your target audience. And on the topic of target audience, knowing a little bit about our MetaQuest users and VR gamers will help you make better marketing decisions. MetaQuest 2 launched in October 2020 and accelerated the VR market. In only 7 weeks, it surpassed the original MetaQuest in terms of monthly active people. And we're seeing even more women in VR than ever before, which is really exciting. In March 2022, we announced some stats around how developers like you are earning meaningful revenue on the platform. The MetaQuest store has generated over $1 billion in software sales revenue. We're currently selling MetaQuest 2 in Europe, Asia, North America, and South America. So make sure you localize your apps for these regions and plan your marketing efforts to maximize your potential. Within the MetaQuest audience, there are popular subsegments. So designing your marketing to speak to them will help focus your efforts. For example, a segmentation study by the Meta User Research Team identified 7 segments of the US gamer market. The most relevant to VR are dedicated, play to win, and steady gamer. You can learn more about these segments and how to market to them on the Meta blog. And as our user base expands to include growing segments such as fitness and productivity, we will continue to expand our research. So now that we understand the importance of setting goals and identifying a target audience, how do you apply them to your marketing plan? The team at Forever Games put all these practices into action when they launched their titles. And here to talk about it is Lauren Kester.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Kester, Head of Marketing at Forever Games. We've leveraged many of the tools Caitlin just spoke about to drive installs and engagement for our Forever Games titles. Knowing your audience is crucial to marketing your game successfully. Meta's demographic analytics is a great place to start as a way to understand who your users are and where they live. We use this data to help us pinpoint key markets to localize our content, as well as what elements of the game we promote. Pre-launch research can give you a head start on where to expect engagement and interest. For example, digital darts is super popular in Japan. So when we launched Forever Darts, we spent extra effort to ensure we had Japanese versions of the trailer and store assets. We also ran localized ads targeted to Japan and Japanese speakers. The most prevalent languages we see across our games are German, French, Korean, Japanese, and Spanish. We track this demographic data over time to see how our design and marketing decisions affect the game. Diversity, representation, and accessibility are tenets that Forever Games factors into marketing and user acquisition, as well as game and content design. Since adding bowling balls designed by women in the Forever Bowl community, we've seen an increase of active female identifying players. We also actively use female avatars in trailers and store assets. We're now proud to share that over 1/3 of Forever Bowl's audience identifies as female. Additionally, this demographic data has helped us define Quest communities and affinity groups to engage and grow our audience. We've also just begun to leverage the latest store asset placement from Meta, Immersive Assets, which elevates the in-headset store page viewing experience.
All right, now, once you've identified the goals of your campaign and your target audience, the next step is making creative assets to support your game's launch. The asset creation process is always really iterative. You're going to be testing new assets constantly and tweaking them. So when you think through new creative concepts, think back to who your target audience is, identify what appeals to them, and then use those insights to build new creative assets. Every app on the Meta Quest store has a product detail page, or PDP, as we like to call it. You'll want to create eye-catching key art as well as videos for your PDP, like these here that Forever Games created for their titles. When it comes to trailers, think gameplay trailers as well as mixed reality trailers. And as a bonus, any assets you build for the MetaQuest store can be repurposed for social and other marketing campaigns. And after your game has launched, we have a lot of great tools to help you connect with your player base. For example, Developer Posts is a feature that helps you engage and grow your community. How it works is simple. You provide some really great images and descriptions of your game, and they'll display in the home feed and on your game's PDP. These posts are great to highlight promotions and new content in your game. And don't forget to check out the Developer Post Analytics to find out how your posts are performing. Next up are user notifications. These are short, free-form notifications that you can send to people in VR and on our mobile app. Use single send notifications to reach your audience directly. These are great to let your audience know about updates to your app, to share promotions in the MetaQuest store, and to bring awareness to upcoming in-app experiences. Event-based notifications are sent based on a specific user action or another event that you define in your code. You can use event-based notifications to let someone know that a friend has sent them in-app currency, or to celebrate a user achievement. For example, when a user completes a level in your game, you can send an event-based notification to encourage them to continue on to the next level.
We frequently use user notifications to inform players of events, updates, and important information. User notifications can also be a great tool for re-engaging players when there are new features or content. While most of these notifications point to an in-game destination, we often create developer posts to provide additional context and information to players. We've used these developer posts to cross-promote new game launches, inform players about updates, as well as provide support information and flag known issues. In these posts, we like to mix in screenshots and marketing assets to polish and provide engaging and informative content. To support our marketing efforts, we've leveraged freelance services like Fiverr, which are great for finding graphic designers and video editors to help create compelling marketing assets. Another solution for marketing support is Marketer Hire, where you can find experts to assist with your unique needs like user acquisition, copywriting, and more. Both are great solutions for teams without a dedicated marketing team or when in-house resources are limited. Additionally, we've leveraged tools like Catapult, Indie Boost, and Keymailer that make it possible to connect with content creators and influencers to help market your games. When it comes to partnering with content creators and influencers, look for creators that cater to your existing audience, as well as audiences you are looking to grow.
The best way to test the effectiveness of your marketing is via our A/B testing product. A/B testing is great because it allows you to test 2 different campaigns at the same time and see which performs better. With our A/B test tool, you have a couple options to explore. First, you can individually test trailers, key art, and descriptions. So, for example, maybe you want to see if the mixed reality trailer outperforms a gameplay trailer. Now, using our A/B test tool, you can test them simultaneously and see which leads to more purchases and revenue. And soon, you'll be able to test a lot more, including genres, immersive assets, screenshots, and keywords. Another way you can use the A/B test tool is for when you push out new metadata changes. In this scenario, you can test your PDP as a whole. So that means you can test multiple variables at once. The tricky part is if the results are negative, you'll need to follow up with individual tests to figure out which variable drove the regression. And we're expanding A/B testing to meet the needs of your business models. So if your app is free to install and you make money downstream, you'll soon be able to A/B test whether or not you're driving downstream revenue. Some of you have already adopted A/B testing and have seen great results. In our recent case study, developers saw double-digit conversion improvements and identified assets that were low-performing. The best part about this is that these A/B tests helped the developers earn meaningful revenue and understand which strategies will maximize their success in the future.
We've leveraged Meta's A/B testing to find which store assets perform best for acquiring new users. We've found that playful and bright assets paired with store descriptions highlighting both the casual and core player-targeted features work best. We've also found that leveraging meta avatars in our assets drive both new user acquisition and re-engagement. This learning aligns with our best practice of leveraging mixed reality content in trailers to allow a potential user to visualize the full immersive experience.
Earlier this year, we launched the Meta Avatar Store on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. And later this year, we're launching in VR. If you want to enable the Meta Avatar Store in your application, there's 2 steps you'll need to take. 1, integrate the Meta Avatars SDK. And 2, enable an entry point to the avatar editor within your app. Then, people will be able to access, explore, and purchase in-store offerings across even more VR destinations. When the Meta Avatar Store launches in VR, you'll see custom avatar clothing items from a few third-party developers, including Forever Games, who created these really cute bowling outfits to sell to customers. In the future, this will be an exciting opportunity for you to create and sell custom avatar clothing items for your games. Driving user engagement through developer posts, notifications, A/B testing, and avatars are just a few ways to reach people and get them excited about your games.
We're looking forward to being a part of the Meta Avatar Store pilot later this year. We've had dozens of players ask us to make bowling shirts, so we look forward to delighting our community. We view this program as a marketing opportunity to reward and engage players, as well as promote the Forever Games brand on new surfaces like Facebook and Instagram. As we use all of the tools we mentioned today, we always track impact using analytics. Analytics allows us to understand what tools move the needle and where to invest our time and resources. We frequently use funnel analytics to track the health of our store assets and product description, as well as leveraging data like reach to unique clicks and unique clicks to unique conversions to influence our bids for off-platform user acquisition. Revenue analytics is important for tracking our game sales. User notification analytics let us know what messaging drives the most engagement. And user demographic analytics heavily impacts our business decisions in and out of the game. User engagement analytics provide a clear picture of active players, while retention data helps us measure the engagement of players from key beats, like our golden cohort, and key periods of new user acquisition, like the holidays.
We've covered a lot today. There's so much you can do, and starting with just one of these areas will help you learn what works for your game. Developers like Lauren show us how successful these tools can be. I look forward to discovering your app on the Meta Quest Store.
Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this track, but there is still so much more to come. You might actually have time to watch some of the other sessions that are finishing up, so just head back to the Reality Labs Facebook page or pop into one of the other locations within Meta Squared. Karen, were you able to catch anything?
Yeah, so I checked out the Creator Journey session because I actually already follow all of them on Instagram, and I've used their effects before. These effects, they're some of the most mind-blowing, innovative, creative stuff I've ever seen. And what really stood out to me was when they spoke to how they got started and how they started from really simple concepts and even felt insecure in the beginning. And then seeing how they evolved from that to become as impressive as they are today. I think that's just so encouraging for anyone who wants to get started in all of this.
It's so true. And I'm always awe-inspired by the creativity and the perseverance of this community. It makes the future even more exciting, which is yet another reason why everyone should stay tuned for our final bit of the day. Carmack Unscripted will be live broadcast at 2:30 p.m. Pacific from Meta Horizon Worlds. Now, to those already in the metaverse, head back to the outdoor screen in Meta Square. And while you wait, feel free to continue to explore, network, and chat with other attendees and discover more of Meta Square. Now, to those on desktop or mobile, grab a quick bite, grab a drink, get some coffee, get some tea, but make sure to stick around on the Reality Labs Facebook page as our time with Carmack will start shortly. You do not want to miss his unfiltered take on the future of technology, so we'll see you right back here very soon.